What's up, folks, and welcome to another episode of Real Amigos. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, along with Donnie. Donnie, hi, how are you?
What's up, Fredo?
Oh, this is how we're going to start this, huh?
I found out that was an ethnic slur this week, so
maybe we shouldn't start the show with it then.
I'm going to start dropping that on everyone.
If you don't know where you are, Real Amigos is a weekly podcast where we talk about movies. We are not a podcast about racist terms. We are a podcast
Which
about...
Fredo is not, by the way, a racist term at all.
Ethnic term, sorry.
None of those things.
None of those things. But we are here to talk about great movies, and tonight we have two great movies to talk about.
Lies.
I would argue, Donnie picked a really good one, and I think I may have actually picked a better movie this week. So I'm excited to get into that in a little while. So we, our show varies from week to week, and we kind of change up the theme a little bit. Tonight is another installment of what we like to call movie swap, and that's where Donnie picks a movie for me to watch, and I pick a movie for him to watch, and we'll get to that in a little while. We swap movies. That's right. So with that being said, before we jump in, let's just kind of talk about some stuff. So I will go first.
All right.
I have been dropping...
I know you're excited. I know there's some news.
I know. I've been dropping some news on the Facebook group. Small plug here. If you don't know, we do have a Facebook group. Just search for Real Amigos. It's a private group where we talk about a lot of the stuff we talk about this on the show, and then sometimes I just like to drop stuff that I'm excited about. And today there were two pretty big news stories. One I was excited about. One not as excited, but very interesting. So the first one is The Matrix 4 is happening. And so it is coming from Jana Wachowski, who was one of the original, the Wachowski brothers, who turned into a Wachowski sister, is now writing sisters.
They're both girls.
That's right. So one of them, but only one of them, is writing and directing a sequel to The Matrix. They did confirm though that Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss are both back, so Neo and Trinity are definitely back. Which, knowing how the movies ended, that's going to be interesting of where they take for, if it's like a reboot where they come back. And I mean, again, we're talking about a virtual world, and there's any number of things that they could do.
Okay, so question.
Okay,
did you understand the Matrix trilogy at all after the first one? 2 and 3 completely just baffled my mind. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Now again, for pure watchability and spectacle, it was fine. Sure. I mean, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of cool stuff.
Agreed.
But to follow the plot, dude, was just like, what? I just can't fathom where they're going to go with another one.
I agree with that. And that's kind of where I fall as far as, like, I don't know what they'll do. The way that they wrapped it up, to answer your question, I don't think anybody can actually follow the Matrix. I think that I understand... like the kind of the gist of it. It's one of those things, right? We've been talking about Terminator a lot, right? I understand the conceit is John Connor in the future fights against the machines, so the machines are going back into time to stop him. Like, I get that as a as like a byline of what this is about, but how it all transpires is really bonkers. And that's kind of how Matrix is. Like, I understand the idea that the human resistance is pulling people out of... Again, right, the conceit is these people are plugged up to power the machines. The human resistance is pulling those people out to rise up against the machines, and then Neo's the chosen one. That whole thing doesn't really pan out.
I get that.
Yeah, exactly. But how it all works and how it actually resolved, I don't understand either.
No clue. All right, so I'm not alone. Good.
Yeah.
Just want to make
to be completely honest, I know that they would never do this because the Wachowskis did Matrix 2 and 3, but I would actually prefer them to come in and just do a direct sequel to The Matrix. Because if you remember, I mean, first off, The Matrix is, in my opinion, a near perfect film. I love The Matrix. And it ends, right, with Neo giving his kind of call to arms speech, and he's talking on the phone, and then he just takes off and flies. That's
I'm coming to get you, computer.
Yeah, that's the movie I want to see. I want to see like exactly like right when that picks up, and then follow kind of
The Matrix,
all of the crazy stuff.
Cyber Revenge.
Anyway, Matrix 4 is happening. I love the Matrix 1. I love Keanu Reeves, especially right now. The Keanu right now is firing on all cylinders. So
what deal did that guy make with the devil in the last 3 years, man?
I know, yeah, I don't know.
Because he's the most beloved soul on this planet right now.
Yeah.
He is Neo literally right now on this planet.
He is. He's great. I love him so much. He's so good. Okay, so that was
enjoy the ride, Keanu.
That was
enjoy
one.
it.
That was one bit of news. Let's talk about the other bit of news. The other bit of news is that it was announced today that Disney and Sony did not reach an agreement, and so we are now not going to have the Sony Spider-Man. So the Spider-Man from Far From Home, the Spider-Man from Homecoming, the Spider-Man from Civil War and Infinity War. That Spider-Man is no longer considered part of the MCU. Which means that at no point in the future will an MCU character like Nick Fury or not Iron Man, Cat, whoever, they're not going to show up in the Spider-Man movie, and Spider-Man will not show up in any of the MCU movies going forward.
Did you say Iron Ball?
Iron Ball, yeah.
Is that what you said?
I don't think so, but maybe.
I thought you okay, maybe. I was like, what? Who's that?
No, but there is an X-Men.
It's so weird. I don't understand all this stuff.
For the record, there is an X-Men called Gold Balls, and all he does is create gold balls that just pop out of him. So there you go. There's your little trivia.
Sounds spectacular.
So here's what happened, right? So Sony has the rights to Spider-Man. They've had them for a long time. The agreement that they had this was way before the Disney deal. The agreement that they had with Marvel is that they could keep the rights as long as they produce a movie every. I don't remember. I don't have it right in front of me. I want to say maybe every 3 or 4 years. And so that's why
right.
you have continually seen them reboot Spider-Man and do Spider-Man movies, because as long as they're using the license, it doesn't expire. So then, of course, Disney came in and bought Marvel. Now they've bought Fox, so now they have Fantastic Four and X-Men. So the only thing that they don't have anymore is Universal has Hulk, and then Sony has Spider-Man. And so Marvel really wanted to get Spider-Man into Civil War. And so they struck up a deal with Sony where they would partner together, and they would use the Spider-Man in the MCU, and then the Spider-Man movies could then reference the MCU and have characters show up. For example, Iron Man was in Homecoming, and so it was this shared effort. And so whatever the agreement was expired with the last movie, Far From Home, and so they're trying to renegotiate that contract. And so,
but no go.
But as of right now, no go. So what that means is, as going forward, the MCU does not have a Spider-Man, and Marvel can't replace him.
It means, Chris, you will not be watching Far From Home on Disney Plus, my friend.
And that's very sad, because
actually you probably will, won't you? Is it still Disney? I guess it's still Disney.
Well, I mean, it's
just the new ones won't be.
It's still a Marvel property, so it probably will still be there.
I don't understand any of it. I don't understand how the Hulk can be in all the Avengers movies but still not be considered a part of Disney or Marvel. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a bunch of legal jargon.
It's very strange.
All right, it doesn't matter. We're not here to talk about legal stuff.
Enough.
Just so you know, Spider-Man's not in the MCU anymore for right now. We'll update you if that changes.
It's very sad.
Let's kick it to you. You're the movie.
Yeah, man, I watched some movies.
Let's talk about some movies. What have you watched?
All right, I watched some movies. So I watched a bad 80s movie called Class of 1984. Okay. I told you before, I'm drawn to these bad, low budget 80s movies.
Amazon knows too, so they
yes, and they figured me out. I watched a movie called True Believer with James Woods and Robert Downey Jr. It's really good. It's a courtroom drama sort of movie.
Okay.
I watched I'm still plowing through my 100 greatest war movies list.
Oh, nice.
So I watched a movie called Battleground from 1949, which is a World War II flick, pretty good. Hamburger Hill, which is I don't know what that was. I think it was Vietnam. Vietnam, not bad. And I watched The Bridges at Tokyo-ri, which is, I think, Korea. And I watched, what's the other one I watched? Stalag 17. That's a great one. World War II, German prisoners of war. Tremendous movie.
No idea.
Never seen it, of course, right?
No.
I watched Soul Man with C. Thomas Howell. Spectacular.
I don't know that is this
this is the one where he took
Eddie Murphy movie, right?
He took excess. No, C. Thomas Howell took excess tanning pills darkened his skin to get into college on a minority scholarship.
What?
This is a film that you could definitely not make today.
Is it based on a true story?
Negative.
Okay,
it is just
okay.
made on no sort of truth whatsoever.
That's hilarious.
I watched Nighthawks with Sylvester Stallone and Billy D. Lando Williams.
Nice.
It's not that great. I watched Gone with the Wind, which you'll be hearing more about later.
We talked about. That's right. Yeah. We'll
that sucker's long. I forgot how long that movie was. That's a solid 4-hour movie.
You know what else is a long movie? The movie that you made me watch. But
it is a little longer than I anticipated.
We'll talk about that in a little while. Gone with the Wind is a marathon movie. I can remember. So my grandmother loved Gone with the Wind, and I remember for I want to say a Christmas or a birthday, my mom, of course, it was from mom and the kids, but we got her for her birthday like this really fancy deluxe edition of the VHS set, and it was a 2 VHS set. It was this giant box.
Oh yeah,
and so it was 2 full VHSs to watch that dang movie. So
wow, I just can't imagine children sitting and watching 4 hours of love and arguing and spats and all that. Anyway.
Well, I mean, if anybody's watched this show for a while, they know that I'm not normal, so that's...
I watched Top Gun. I watched Gladiator, both on the same day. Had a guy day by myself and watched some Testosterone.
Top Gun, I think, still so dang good.
It's a good movie. It's a terrible movie, but it's a great movie.
So good. So good.
It's highly watchable. Yes. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
Although again, Goose death is completely pointless, and I want to punch someone in the face. Mostly, I want to punch Iceman in the face because it's really his fault, but he never takes the blame for it in the movie, and I don't really understand how that works.
I mean, it's heartbreaking, I mean, it definitely tugs at the heartstrings, but yes, it is.
Maverick keeps telling Iceman, "Move, move! I got him. Get out of the way," and Iceman won't do it.
Yeah, but
he goes through his wash, and Goose is dead.
But listen, Iceman knew he was destined to be Batman. He wasn't going to take back.
Iceman,
come on.
Stagecoach, great. Blood Simple. The Coen's first movie.
Oh, that's a Nick Cage movie, right? Nick Cage is in it?
No, not that was Raising Arizona.
Oh, okay.
No, it has Frances McDormand in it.
Okay.
Brightburn, a new one.
Oh, that's right. You watched that one. That's right. I haven't had a chance.
Man, it could have been so good, but it was just so. You and I talked about it. It limited budget, man. I think really hurt that movie.
Yeah.
It could have been really, really good, but. Disappointing.
Have you seen Chronicle?
Yes.
Okay,
but it's been a while.
Okay, so remember Chronicle is a 3 kid. It's shaky hand footage, which I don't like at all.
No, I didn't like that at all.
But like the premise, right? The 3 kids get the superpowers, and then the one kid turns out he's like
he goes bad,
berserko, right?
Yeah.
Is it better than that movie?
I would say it is, yeah.
Okay.
It has some good stuff in it, but I'll tell you what, it's gory. I mean, like, there's some stuff in that movie that made me cringe, and I don't cringe, so.
Nice. So,
it was rough.
So there was a great DC book back in, I want to say, it had to have been the 90s, but it's called Superman Red Sun. It could have been late 80s, but I think it was 90s. Superman Red Sun, which basically just Superman is the exact same origin, but his ship, instead of falling in Kansas, falls somewhere in the Soviet Union. And he's raised to be a Soviet warrior.
Oh, wow.
And he talk about brutal. He becomes like worshipped as like a military god, and he just wipes out the
right.
I mean he anyway. It's a great book.
Which that's my whole complaint with this movie. If you're essentially Superman, no one can stop you. Yeah. There's nothing that they can create to stop you.
Sure.
And you hate people and want to kill them. Why aren't you just killing them all? It's like, there's always like this movie, Brightburn, always has these weird loopholes like, oh, well, I'm going to try to manipulate you first emotionally, and then I'm not going to kill you right now. It's like, why don't you just put your hand through that guy's chest right now? Like, who cares if his wife finds out? Just kill him.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't care. You don't, I mean, just kill everyone.
Yeah, who's going to hurt you? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. To me, it breaks down.
Yeah.
I watched Basket Case. Don't watch Basket Case, anyone. Don't watch it. It's terrible. I watched Punchline with Tom Hanks and Sally Field. That was okay.
To be fair, look, I watched about 15 minutes of Basket Case.
No, you did not. Did you?
Yeah, yeah. So
it's bad.
I was sitting at my desk. I was just testing the quality of it, and there's absolutely no volume whatsoever. I just have it on the screen. I fast forward to a scene that has the Basket Case kid in it, and I just watched in complete silence about 15 minutes of it, and it's rough.
It's abysmally bad. So bad. All right, wrap it up here. I watched Godzilla from 2014.
Okay, good.
And which we'll talk about later in our next podcast. And I watched Godzilla King of the Monsters back to back.
Okay.
And I did not, again, let down. I don't get it, man.
Okay, so like even
those two movies could have been fantastic.
Oh man, I had high hopes for the new one.
It's better than the first one, but it's still just.
It's too much people. It's too much people.
It's too much people garbage, yes. It's like, this is Godzilla. Let's just follow this Joker around and let him destroy things. Mm-hmm. But he just pops up every now and then, like for 3 seconds at a time. And you're like, oh, wait, there he is. Oh, there he went.
No, that's bull. That's bull.
So anyway, that's it for me. Those are the movies I watched since the last we met.
All right, well, let's jump in here. So, movie swap is the thing that we like to do. Where, again, if you're new to the show, you will find out that I like talking about movies, but I have not seen near as many as I should have. And Donnie likes to correct me on that. So we decided to start this as a way for Donnie to school me on some great movies that I've missed along the ways. And then my job is real simple. It's just to find a movie that Donnie has never seen, which is dang near impossible. So we end up with some really comical stuff for Donnie. And what's funny is even like, we talked about Power Rangers, last time, and I told
you I didn't want to talk about that movie ever again.
I watch Power Rangers
once
a year. I've watched it once a year since 1995.
Holy Toledo!
This has been out. I love that movie. So
what is wrong with you, man?
Understand. Just because some movies that I pick are bad, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm trying to punk Donnie. These are movies that I actually do like. And that brings us to tonight. So I'll go first. So I made Donnie watch a fantastic movie from 1994 called The Flintstones.
The Flintstones.
I can't even say it with a straight face. It has a very respectable 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. It came out May 27th. It was directed by Brian Levant, which I found interesting when I was looking just to get the notes for the show ready. This is the same guy who directed Beethoven, which I also love. We talked about the guy. This
is your wheelhouse, buddy.
What's the guy? The guy from the first
Charles Grodin.
Yeah, Charles Grodin has him as the dad and the dog, which is great, and Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, I mean, this is like top quality directing.
Those are the movies that he made?
These are the movies he made. So, it stars John Goodman, Rick Moranis, Elizabeth
That explains
Taylor,
so much.
So, the movie is basically just a live-action version of the, what was Flintstones 1950s? 60s maybe.
60s maybe. That's exactly what it cartoon. Is. That's all it is.
That's all it is. It is a live act. I know, which is why it's fantastic. It is a live action version of the 1950s, 60s, whatever it is. Flintstones. Fun fact about Flintstones: Flintstones was the first cartoon that ever debuted in a primetime TV slot. It debuted at night. They were trying to bill it as an actual adult television program at the time.
I believe it was based on The Honeymooners, was it not?
Yes, yeah, it was, but in caveman days. I do have some funny stories to tell you in a second about that. But anyway, so why I picked it. So this hit 94, so I was 12 years old when this came out. I grew up a huge fan of Hanna-Barbera, so I love the Jetsons, I love Flintstones, I love there's Cray Babe. You have what were the I'm gonna blank on all their names. What was the God, they were like a team, and they were like the humanoids or the what's their name? Anyway,
Yeah, there was like a rock dude.
Yeah, like a rock dude, and like a guy with.
Was that the one with hair. Space Ghost in it?
Space Ghost was maybe.
Wasn't he a part of that crew?
He's part of the Hanna-Barbera, yeah, from that same era, yeah. But man, I grew up on all those cartoons. I love them. I'm a big fan of animation in general. So
Speed Buggy,
that stuff. So I'm a big fan of Flintstones. When this came out, the marketing for this was aimed at me. Probably 8 to 12-year-old kids was what this was aimed at. There were toys everywhere. McDonald's Happy Meals. They have McDonald's glass. I talked about this last time. They have McDonald's glass mugs, which I tried to find them, but I think they're in my grandma's boxes somewhere back in Florida. But I had these glass mugs, and I was completely bought in. And what was great about the movie to me is that they recreated Bedrock, and
they did.
Watching it now, it's just so banana pants crazy, but it just, to be able to go in and see, I love when movies, and again, look, I'm waxing poetic about this movie because I do love it.
Because you're an insane person. Your mental stability is in question.
I love when movies just transport you to a different place. Like, that's why I watch movies. And when you watch this, you're just like, I love it.
Now, you gave in your so far synopsis the best part of this movie already, and that is the sets.
Yeah, man, they're so good.
The sets are fantastic.
They're so good.
I mean, it's talking like some full-scale Bedrock type stuff, man.
Okay.
But that's it.
Okay,
that's
hang on.
Pretty much it. I'll stop. Carry on.
I want to say one thing that I thought was really funny, and then I'm going to let you start talking about it a little bit.
I don't have that much to say, so.
No, I want you to. So, I watched this. I watched this with my 10 and 6-year-old son. When just this last week, just because they were around, and I'm like, oh, you guys can watch this, and my 10-year-old kept responding as if the movie was real life. Which I thought was hilarious. It started with the car when he starts pedaling his feet. And dude, I will say this right now: the sound effects in this movie are the best. When they pedal the car, it's like
you're losing it, buddy. What's wrong with you right now?
It's so good. So
it's not. So stop it, man.
He starts pedaling his car. And I swear to you, this is a true story. My 10-year-old son looks at me. He says, "Oh, is that how they used to get their car started?" And I lost it. I started cracking up. So, and then he said it one other time. When he comes in and pours all the money on his desk to buy him off, and he picks them up and they're like seashells. And my 10-year-old's like, "Is that what money used to look like?"
You're totally ruining your children's view of history,
and I
man.
even told him when he asked the car question, I'm like, "Oh no, but this is completely fantasy. This is just a made up thing that they did." And then he asked about the money. I had to explain it to him again. I'm like, "But this is not like life was never like this. We never pushed cars around like this. Goodness. We never rode dinosaurs. Like, it's not a real thing."
Oh boy.
Okay. Anyway, so that's my funny story. All right. So let me kick it back over to you. Now, we picked this movie again. The only rule that we have on Movie Swap is that the other person can have never seen the movie. They can be aware of it, but have never seen it. So Donnie has never seen the Flintstones.
Never seen the Flintstones.
So go ahead. What did you think about
Well, first of all, I want to correct you because this was not directed by that dude you said.
Oh, really?
This was directed by Steven Spielrock.
Oh.
It says it right at the beginning.
At the beginning, that's right.
I'm not really sure why. It seems a little odd for it to say that, but it does.
Did you watch the credits at the end too? It says something to the effect of we want to thank the city of Bedrock for allowing us to shoot, and then it says
I think I tried to get it turned off as quick as I could.
It does something kind of like that at the end too, to kind of it's a little joke.
I've already given my biggest praise to this movie, and that is the sets.
Yes.
They're pretty spectacular. There's definitely some money spent on the sets.
Uh-huh.
But it's basically just people imitating cartoons, man, which I find odd and weird. It's I mean, John Goodman does a great Fred Flintstone. Sure, no problems there.
Dude, he is all in on this movie.
Oh, he is.
I mean,
he's giving it everything.
Like his reaction shots when he's reacting to the different things that he's not like he is totally in.
He's in. I think all 4 of your main leads they're all pretty in to the character.
Gosh, that's so good.
Now, I will say Rosie makes me throw up a little bit in my mouth, but that's just me anyway. Elizabeth Taylor is in this movie, man.
Yes, she is, man.
Holy mackerel. Yeah. What is she doing in this movie? I do not know. There's no plot to this movie except just like, what is it? Corporation greed, corporate greed.
Yeah,
basically. But they're
really
trying to put everybody out of work.
Yeah, but there's no plot because, it ends with him going back to the exact same job he has. So there's no progression. Yeah. There's no, there's no...
He basically sets out to save Barney's job more than anything because him and Wilma get caught up in their greedy lifestyle and they mistreat the rebels and da-da-da.
Yeah.
So here's a question I have. And I have to blame the TV show, but here's the question. What is the deal? There's a scene where a bunch of people in Bedrock get into a bus. And they proceed with their own feet to push the bus.
Yeah, man.
Propelling it with their own feet.
Yeah.
Why would you not just walk? What's the point of public transportation?
No, come on.
That's like me going to the self-checkout line at the store. Why do I want to do that? I'm paying you, bus driver dude, to pedal the bus, not me.
No. You're
I want to sit here. I'll give you my seashell money.
Stop.
To do this,
they're heavy granite wheels, okay, and so gravity pulls them down and allows it to roll once it gets momentum. So once they get started with the momentum, they pull those suckers up and they just glide.
So it's like landing gear. Once you're moving, the feet go
you're
up.
Just going. Yeah, you're just going, man.
Okay, so you got this all figured out.
Yeah, we got this.
Good for you, buddy.
This is the real thing. The real thing.
You're gonna get mad at me, but. I wrote on my notes here, I liked the pterodactyl scene, but I don't remember what the pterodactyl scene was.
Okay,
it's been a couple of weeks since I watched it.
Is it where
I don't remember.
He gets punched? Is that the one? And there's little pterodactyls that fly around his face?
I don't remember.
No,
I literally don't remember.
That happens whenever Barney's like, oh, hang on, I forgot to punch out. And he punches him in the face, and then pterodactyls fly around his face. Is that the one?
Did that really happen?
Yeah.
Wow. It seemed like there was more of a scene with
maybe at the beginning.
Pterodactyl flying in it or something. Is it an airplane?
Oh, that's right. Know. Yeah. No, there's an airplane. Yeah, they do show a scene whenever you're, and I want to say it's even the opening shot. They kind of show they're zooming into Bedrock, and it shows a big pterodactyl with people on the back.
Maybe that's what it was.
And that's bonkers.
Okay.
That's how they use.
Yeah, I liked that scene. And then I wrote two more notes.
You can't even remember it. All right.
My second to last note is that I thought it was a little sexed up for the kiddies, man.
Halle Berry.
There was a little bit of risque
man.
cave woman behavior on the part of Sharon Stone.
Yeah, Sharon Stone.
Not the Sharon Stone.
Yeah, but just a Sharon.
But Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Whenever he's trying to do it, and she's like, "You don't. Reading is my job. You don't want to put me out of a job, do you?" Like that whole scene on the desk. Yeah, that's a little risque.
She's coming on to Fred pretty hardcore there.
Yeah. Well, she's in on the take. So.
Yeah, but of course she turns around at the end and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I had one more note, and I literally wrote 3 words: I hate Chris. And that was it. That's my notes on the Flintstones.
What about?
Look, if you're watching this on video, I don't know if you can see that right there. I hate Chris.
Listen, what about when Bam Bam when they're moving out and Bam Bam is carrying all the furniture for them.
I share none of your joy with this film. All the laughter that you're feeding into the mic right now, I share none of that.
I don't understand this movie.
I did not find this movie funny at all. I give the leads credit for trying, but holy Toledo, no, I can't do it, man. Not my thing.
I love it. I think it's great.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Okay, so we're gonna move on because we can't really talk anymore about Flintstones.
We can't.
I legitimately love this movie. This was not picked as like a prank. I think this is so much fun. I love this movie.
You seem like you're overselling that to me, but whatever.
I do. Man, I watched it again. I watched it twice. I watched it
the
once.
Prank part.
I watched. Oh yeah.
You're like, no, I swear it's not a prank at all.
Well, because it probably comes across that way, but I really do love this movie. All right, that's enough. Let's go ahead and transition.
So Chris sends me to Bedrock with a bunch of cave people, cartoon to screen. I gave Chris a movie from 1996. It's called Sleepers. It is let's call it a revenge tale / courtroom drama. And stars Brad Pitt and what's that guy's name?
Robert De Niro.
It has De Niro and Dustin Hoffman, and it's got some other folks. Can't remember the main guy's name. Shoot. Adrian Pasdar? No, that's not it.
Yeah, well, I don't remember because I don't really know him from anything else.
He was in quite a few 80s movies. He was in The Lost Boys. He was the main guy in Lost Boys. And anyway, so the plot, should I give the plot here? Kind of the plot basically is you got these four best buddies growing up in New York, and they're kind of in with the wrong, I don't know, they're running in the wrong circles. They get into trouble. They end up hurting somebody, kind of ruining a guy's life, really. So they go to juvie, where they encounter basically their worst nightmares with guards that come in the middle of the night and do terrible things to them. And so they finally get out of there, and they basically, two of them get together and concoct a tale of revenge against these prison guards, which leads to some interesting twists and turns. So Sleepers. I picked Sleepers because I love a good revenge film, and I think this is a really good revenge tale. In fact, one of the pivotal plot points is the constant reference to The Count of Monte Cristo is one of the books that they read in school, and the guy kind of gets the idea. It's supposedly a true story, but there's a lot of debate as to whether this is a true story or not. In fact, it's been denounced as not, but the author still stands by it.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. I found it to be a compelling tale of revenge. So I sent it Chris's way. Curious what Chris thought of it.
So let's dive in here. First off, I want you guys to all realize how much I just expressed my love for the Flintstones. To understand, this is completely opposite of anything that I really enjoy ever watching, and especially when it comes to like kid stuff. As being a dad, and there's something about me is that I become very you'll probably know the word for it. Empathetic, maybe, is the word, but I tend to really involve myself in what I'm watching, and I get emotionally invested in what's happening, and so watching stuff like this is very, very hard.
Did I scar you? Are you scarred now?
No, but I will say that I was sick to my stomach several times and was very just kind of the following day just kind of reflective and stuff. So let's jump into my notes. First off, let's start off with the music. The music started, and I said, "This is the wrong music. This music is totally sci-fi."
Sci-fi.
And then a few minutes later, it says music by. Do you know who?
No,
John Williams. John Williams.
Are you serious?
Yeah, John Williams did the music, and I was like, all right, not sci-fi,
I didn't
but it definitely
that.
has a vibe. So if from the opening credits, I'm like the music's good, but I'm like, man, this seems really kind of sci-fi. And then when I saw it was John Williams, I thought that was funny. So
Yeah, what you said, let me just say, it's heavy stuff, no doubt,
yeah.
and it maybe I didn't really think about the impact with the reality of
Yeah.
the children thing,
No,
and it's
I don't say
disturbing. I mean,
bad.
like
Yeah.
it is one of those movies that sits with you, and you're like, dude,
Yeah.
like this kind of stuff really goes on out there, and it's
So let me
it's rough.
So again, don't I didn't say that bad. Like I enjoy experiencing movies, but I'm just, my nature is that I get really invested, and
Yeah.
so sometimes it takes me for a little bit of a loop. But I'll so this is about to become counseling with Chris. So
All right.
I have a very like real fear of being like
Raped
taken,
in prison?
yes,
Oh.
but being taken
We all do, Chris.
without representation, right?
Right.
So like the idea of being visiting a foreign country. We went to Brazil together, and
Yeah.
and even back then, I had this idea of what happens if I lose my passport, or I step on the wrong
Yeah.
side of the road, and I get thrown into a prison, and my family never sees me again, and I live this whole life of just what the heck ever happened to that Chris guy? He just disappeared, right?
Yeah.
Or I think about Shutter Island. I watched Shutter Island, right, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
He
you
gets-
did?
Yeah, and he gets in, this, he's crazy, and he's in this thing, but you're trapped there, right? And you want to go. Even we even watch, we just watched Terminator, and Linda Hamilton. She's just explaining real life. Obviously, it's a movie, but she is explaining what really happened to her, and they
all think she's
so
nuts.
unbelievable. They think she's nuts,
Yeah.
and they just and there's nobody to stand up, right? There's no representation.
Right.
She's just out on her own. So I watch this,
yeah.
and I see these kids who did do a bad thing, but it wasn't maliciously done. And so that now they get sent, and there's no representation. You're seeing these things happen to them, and there's nobody to stand up for them. And that just like that is a fear of mine just in life.
Yeah.
And so like it really taps into that part of my psyche.
Yeah.
When I watch that, and I'm just like, these kids have nobody. Like what do you do if you are those kids? What do you do? Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing. You can do nothing. And so it is, that part is very very harrowing. Okay, so let's talk about.
There is one scene on that note. There is a scene in the movie where one of the guards who's not in on it stands up for him.
the black guy.
But that guy disappears. Like,
Yeah,
you never see that guy again. It was really weird. Because you're thinking, oh, man, this guy's going to be, like, their salvation. But no.
No,
He saves them from eating food off the floor, but that was it.
Yeah.
Like, the nightmare went on after that. So
Yeah.
it's an odd scene to bring him in.
And not
And then
have
him
him do
just
more.
disappear.
Yeah, I actually, yeah. So one of the things that I try to do, because I, first off, just all cards on the table. I love movie swap. I love being tasked with these movies that I've never seen before. So I try to go in just as blind as I can. And so what's funny is I told you this, but just to share here, whenever you said Sleepers, the movie that I remember, the movie in my head was what movie did I tell you? The movie where they die and come back to life.
Flatliners.
Flatliners. So when you said Sleepers, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, Flatliners.
Right.
And so
Kevin Bacon was in it.
I know Kevin Bacon was in it, and I think that may have been where the tie was. So like I was all prepared to watch this movie about these kids killing themselves and coming back to life. So I had no idea what this movie was about at all. It's and so anyways, it was very heavy. It's definitely not Flatliners, for the record, just in case anybody was wondering. Okay, so my notes are Hell's Kitchen in 1966, really cool, set dressing. Like I felt, very much, in New York, and I thought they did a really good job kind of setting the stage. I wrote I can't do kid stuff, so again, I don't want to spoil anything if somebody wants to watch it like me that's never seen it, but just kind of Donnie did a real good recap. But these kids get taken to a boiler room or a room just where nobody's there, and they get sexually assaulted by these prison guards, and they're there for a year. So it just goes on and on and on, and just. And they don't show anything. It's never explicit, and they don't show it repeatedly. You just know that it's happening, and they do these little hints that it's happening, and it's like it literally made my stomach turn. It's very hard to watch. Then my next note is I paused it midway in the movie. I put it on pause and I looked up the movie because I swore that I was watching the wrong movie because there were no stars in the movie. This movie stars Brad Pitt. It stars Robert De Niro. It stars Minnie Driver. They are not seen in the first entire half of this movie.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It is weird.
And so I thought, crap, maybe I'm watching the wrong one again. And so it was just it was weird. Like if they were doing this movie today and Brad Pitt was, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. It just took me aback. If this was a movie today, Brad Pitt would have been the first person you see on the screen saying something to the effect of, "Let me tell you a story of what happened when I was a kid," and then it would flash back. But like you literally do not see these guys as adults until they are adults, and that's halfway through the movie, which I think is really cool. It just was very unexpected.
Right. It is surprising.
Yeah. And then my last note, and then we can just kind of, talk for a few minutes and then wrap it up. My last note is, how freaking great is Robert De Niro? Now, I'm going to say this because I don't know that I've ever really been a huge fan of Robert De Niro. And I think it's maybe because I haven't watched a lot of good movies with him in it. To be honest, like the most prominent movie I can think with him in it was Meet the Parents, which I loved. I thought he was great. But now you've made me watch Midnight Run.
I forgot this was the second one. Yeah,
and now he's in this, and he is electric on screen. I think he is fantastic. Like he just captures. He's just very captivating. I think he's great. Which I mean, obviously, is not a surprise to people that know him, but it's made me really want to go back and watch. Some of his older movies because I just can't remember a lot of around these days, probably like 80s and 90s. Right? Is that kind of his heyday, 80s and 90s? Right?
70s and 80s. 70s and 80s. Yeah. 70s was his major.
Yeah. I just think he's great, and he isn't even in this a lot, but he just has like this gritty realism, when he's talking and when he's interacting with these kids, and it just to be honest with you, because I did, so I try not to read anything, but I did as I was starting the movie. It has like a little blurb about what the movie's about, and it mentions something about like sexually abused, or it says something about being molested or something in the blurb, and I just started real fast. I didn't really read much, and so now I start watching it, and I think that it's Robert De Niro. And I was so sad to think that Robert De Niro was going to be the bad guy. So I'm glad.
You thought he was going to, because he was a priest?
Yeah, because I'm watching this and I'm like, all I know now is that these kids are going to be abused. And then all I see is I'm hanging out with this priest.
You're like, he's the only priest in the movie. It's got to be him.
I know, it's got to be him. Oh, God help me. So real quick. So all we've talked about so far is the first half of the movie. It completely flips. Like it literally jumps to, I guess, let's see, it was 66 when it started. So what is it like? Maybe 15 years later, 10 years later.
Yeah, something like that. It was like early 80s, I think.
Early 80s, yeah.
Or late 70s, yeah.
It's like neon, and they're walking, we see these two older guys. And I knew instantly who they were, but they're two of the kids. And, dude, I, like, that scene in the bar where they find Kevin Bacon. And again, guys, we're gonna spoil this. We already have.
Yeah, definitely spoilers.
Like this is what we're doing, right? But when he sees him, and I'm like, again, because I don't know where the movie's going, and that's what I love about doing this so much. I'm thinking, okay, now he's gonna get the band back together, and they're gonna plot their revenge. Because I'm looking at my clock, and I'm like, we still got an hour of movie left, so he's not gonna kill him right now. Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, they sit down and they talk to him, and they shoot
in front of everybody. In front of everyone. They don't even care.
Yeah, they don't even care. It's so good. It's so then I'm like, Kevin Bacon's the biggest name as far as the bad guys go, right?
I would like to give a best supporting actor nod to Kevin Bacon's mustache in this movie. It's pretty amazing. Dude, it pretty much seals up the sliminess of his character without him having to open his mouth at all.
I will say this about Kevin Bacon. I am a fan that Kevin Bacon exists, but I don't know that I would go watch a movie because Kevin Bacon was in it. Like, I'm not that kind of a fan.
Right.
But what I would say is, like, this is a hard role. Sorry, I had to sneeze. This is a hard. I did sneeze.
And you made it. Good job.
I made it. That's right. This is a hard role to do. Like, to be this evil of a person. And
he plays it
really,
in another movie. I can't remember the name of it. The Woodsman, I think it's called.
Yeah.
But he molests children.
Yeah.
I never saw that.
Yeah, I haven't either. I've heard good stuff. I've actually heard good things about it, like that they don't demoralize him because he has like a problem, But
yeah, it's a problem. Let's call it that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, a lot of times we like to look at a person that struggles with anything and just throw away the key because we don't understand them. But in the movie, from my understanding, he's actually trying to fight against that urge and that desire. And,
and
it's supposed.
I never really. I only saw it in passing. I've never.
But see, it's supposed to be really good, but I can't watch that kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it knowing that.
This is really hard. Even this was hard for me to watch. So yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Are you mad that I made you watch this movie?
No. Okay, so let's kind of wrap up. So I thought this movie was fantastic. So real quick, they shoot the guy. The guys get arrested. The two kids get arrested, and then we finally get to Brad Pitt and what's his face, and they're kind of the two lead guys. And Brad Pitt he basically just says, "Look, I've been planning this ever since we got out. We're taking these guys down," and they build this elaborate scheme where he acts as the DA to prosecute his own friends, and then they bring in a really weird and great Dustin Hoffman as the defense attorney.
Yeah, he's like a totally failed attorney. He's like a total bum.
Yeah.
But they want him because they can manipulate him.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
He was good.
It was good.
Like him reading his notes to the jury. He's just like, and blah, 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 and it's like he has no emotion. Yeah. He's just like he's like a clown. He's a total clown.
Yeah, but he has,
on purpose.
He has a couple of great moments too, though. Which are good.
He does.
But so then it becomes this really cool courtroom drama where they have laid out everything, and as long as it all falls into place, right? The idea is that they're going to destroy the reputation of Kevin Bacon and his friends, and they're going to get away with murder. And And they, spoilers, they do, and it was great. It was great to watch. I was engaged the entire time. I really didn't think that they were going to pull it off. Like, I thought it was going to be, kind of a downer ending. Maybe
it kind of is when you watch what happened to the guys after that.
Oh, well, yeah, it definitely is.
With the two guys ended up dead like 3 years later anyway. So you're like, oh wow. That's a bummer.
Yeah, that's right. They had that last meal together, and they do that. Hey, this is where we ended up. It's not good. But
that life of crime did not pay.
but right, the whole movie, like you said, it's a good revenge story, and it's like, these men robbed them of really their childhood, their innocence, and they were able to repay that.
You gotta love a good revenge story, man.
Yeah,
they make some of the great movies.
I thought it was great. I don't know that I would ever watch it again, just because it is a hard subject matter to watch. I'm glad glad that I watched it. I think it holds up 100%.
It is longer, in all honesty, than I thought it was. I didn't remember it being as long as it was.
It's almost 2 movies.
It's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Yeah. It's pretty long.
Yeah, because it's almost like the movie about the kids in juvie, and then the movie about the courtroom, and they're obviously they're all the same story, but it's almost like entirely different casts, entirely different setting. Like, it's just like two completely different movies, mashed together with this through line. But I thought it was great. I thought it was absolutely great. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend that you see it. If you can handle, movie, if you're okay with watching movies that are uncomfortable. Again, it doesn't show anything violent or really sexual. There's no nudity or anything like that. But it's just a hard subject, to watch. So,
yeah.
All right, so that's it. So, any final thoughts on Sleepers before we wrap?
No. I thought it was a great movie, great performances, except for Brad Renfro. I don't like him.
Who is that? Tell me who that is.
He's Brad Pitt, younger Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah, the kids. Yeah, I guess I could see that.
He's just he's dead now, but he's an overactor. He was in quite a few things.
He's dead?
Yeah, he died young. I think he.
Sad.
Don't know what happened to him. Drugs or something. I don't remember.
That's sad. Okay, real quick before we wrap, we started a thing last movie swap that I liked, which is called Movie Trivia, where we just asked trivia about the movie. So I'm gonna let you go first this time.
Okay.
And so
three questions, right?
So basically, if you don't know what this is, we're just going to ask each other 3 questions, and we do this to see how well we actually paid attention to the movie, and because I think it's fun. So go ahead, Donnie.
I will do terrible at this.
3 questions. Let me have them.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, number 1.
Okay.
Which New York neighborhood did our boys grow up in?
Oh, Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. Very good.
Yes. 1 for 1.
Well done. 1 for 1.
1 for 1.
Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
These are too easy. How many napkins does Shakes ask for at the hot dog stand?
2 napkins.
2 napkins.
Is that right?
At which point he makes a break for it.
That's right.
Yep.
And he does that. He does that again at the very end.
Yes.
Remember, he walks up and he says, "Give him 2 napkins."
Yep, 2 napkins.
That's a nice throwback too. That's good. I was hoping it was going to be the same hot dog guy, but I don't think that it is.
That guy probably went home and committed suicide. So
that's sad. Oh, no. Another sad version.
He does tell a sad story later at the courtroom. He's like, "Man, you guys ruined my only income."
Yeah.
He was like an immigrant, I think, or something. He had like kids and a wife, and they trashed his whole life, man. In addition to crippling a man, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. What was the boy's name who led them to victory in the football game in the prison? Crap. Who, by the way, later was killed by the guards.
Yeah, who they later get the other drug guy to go kill for.
That's right. His brother plays a pivotal role later on.
And I'm gonna get this wrong. I'm gonna say Clovis. I don't know what's his name.
Clovis. No, it is not. It is Rizzo.
Rizzo. That's right.
Rizzo.
That's right.
Hammering on some guards in the football game.
That's right. I went 2 for 1. That's not too bad. That's right.
2 for
Rizzo.
1. 2 for 3. 2 for 3.
Oh yeah, sorry. 2 and 1. Yeah. 2.
All right, go ahead and ask me some Flintstones questions that I will miss.
He was great. That football game was great. I wasn't sure like what kind of football game it was until that very first scene where he walks by Kevin Bacon and he just punches him right.
Oh, he flat out hits him in the face. Yeah, it's like the longest yard all over again.
Yeah. So that was great. I enjoyed that. Okay, here you go. Ready? Question number 1 for the Flintstones trivia.
Oh boy.
Are you ready?
No.
They go to the drive-in both at the beginning and the end, and they're watching a movie. What is that movie called?
I do not know, man. I have no idea. I've erased this movie from my brain. I'm not even kidding. What is it? Just tell me. I don't know.
It is called Tar Wars.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
is it really?
Yes, it's called Tar Wars.
I don't remember that.
Oh, it's the best. Okay. So
okay, I believe you.
Didn't get that one. All right.
I don't believe you.
You didn't get that one. Okay. Question number 2. After Fred gets rich, he decides to take his lovely wife out for a night on the town to the Elk Club. While they're there, they have a very special concert by a live band. Do you know the name of that band?
Oh boy.
These are not hard, Donnie. Come on.
Freddie and the Starlighters.
No,
I don't know, man.
No. It was the BC 52s.
Oh, it was the B-52s singing it.
The B-52s were singing, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They were called the BC 52s.
Okay. I did not know their name, but I knew that was them.
Oh, that was good. Okay, you didn't get that one either, Donnie.
No, I didn't, and I won't.
Okay, so also when Fred gets, so this is question number 3, when Fred gets a lot of money, he goes and purchases my favorite prop from the movie, which is a brand new LeSabre. As he's
what?
It's a LeSabre, the car, the sports car.
A car?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, that little sports car. You don't remember the sports car in the middle, the shiny red little. Oh man, whatever. Anyway, so he pulls his old Fred Flintstone mobile into the car lot, and as he's pulling up, it shows the LeSabre on a rack, and it says that the LeSabre can go 0 to 60 in how many footsteps? It says
5,000.
No, I actually thought you were going to get it. It is 500. The sign says 0 to 60 and 500 footsteps. So that's hilarious.
I thought we were friends. You're gonna give me something. I'm gonna get something good out of this at some point.
I don't understand. Those are really. Oh man, you need to
Now
pay attention.
it's weird though. It's kind of fun seeing how the other side lives. You know.
You mean the people in Bedrock? How they used to live back in the day?
No, how the other side of the tracks. What kind of movies they watch over there.
Oh, okay, guys. That is it for Movie Swap. We hope that you've enjoyed this. I do have some good news for you. Through us talking the last few days, I have found a couple of really genuinely great movies for Donnie to watch. And so in the next few episodes of Movie Swap, we're going to be getting very high quality movies and hopefully some fun discussion. So, but listen, Flintstones is great. I don't care what you say. So that's it. Listen, if you want to, we have a video and an audio podcast. We drop it every week. You can get it on YouTube if you like the video version. On the audio version, you can stream us on Spotify, or you can find us on any podcast service of your choosing. Again, want to promote the Facebook group. We do try to get in there and be active as we can. Would love more just kind of community and conversation in that chat. So if you want to be involved and talk to us, you can do that by going to Facebook and finding our group. If you join, we pretty much will accept anybody as long as you're nice. So we would love to see you over there. But that's it. Thanks for sticking around. We are going to go, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Adios.